sir, you can take a very clear stand.
Yes.
That because of non-compliance in the past,
Yes,
central government has not released funds even for the present.
Yes.
That is going to be a stand. Then we ask the report of the central government as to why you are not releasing funds for the present.
Yes. Well, if your lordships may kindly consider passing an additional direction as to how they have dealt with our repeated letters to withdraw this letter of 9th of March 2022. If that additional direction could be, my lord, considered by your lordship to be passed, my lord, along with whatever your
my lords may kindly take the law for a moment, my lord.
Pardon?
My lords may kindly take the law for a moment. Section 3, my lord. It creates a binding obligation on the state government to provide employment.
No.
Now, my lords, irrespective of whether their paymaster pays or not, it is an obligation on the state government to provide employment, your lordship. It is only, my lords may kindly see section 3 read with section 7, your lordship.
But along with, my lord, the sections which my learned friend wants your lordships to go through, please take section 22 also.
Now, my lord, section 7 once again.
So your case is that irrespective of the fact whether the central government sanctions or not, it's an obligation of the state to
provide employment, your lordship. Now, my lords may kindly take the same letter, 9th March letter, you'll see.
Section 22.
Yes, kindly have a look at section 22, where it says that subject to the rules made by the central government shall meet the cost of the following, namely, A, the amount required for payment of wages for unskilled manual work under the scheme, up to 3/4 of the material cost of the scheme, including payment of wages to the skilled and semi-skilled workers subject to the provisions of Schedule 2. Then 3 is such percentage of total cost of the scheme as may be determined by the central governments towards administrative expenses, which may include the salary and allowances of the program officers, his supporting staff, administrative expenses of the central council, facilities to be provided under Schedule 2, and such other item as may be decided by the central government. Then subsection 2 says, the state government shall meet the cost of the following, namely the cost of unemployment allowances payable under the scheme, 1/4 of the material cost of the scheme, including payment of wages to skilled and semi-skilled workers, subject to the provisions of Schedule 2, then the administrative expenses of the state council. Therefore, the funding pattern goes to show that the majority of the burden is to be shared by the central government. Now, if your lordships may kindly take the schedule.
Section
in the second schedule,
Section 23 and Section 27.
Yes, I'll come to that. Please take the Schedule 2 under the Act, paragraph 29 of Schedule 2. This is wage payment. In case of payment of wages is not made within 15 days from the date of closure of the master roll, the wage seeker shall be entitled to receive payment of compensation for the delay at the rate of so and so of the unpaid wages per day of delay beyond the 16th day of the closure of the master roll. Any delay in payment of compensation beyond the period of 15 days from the date it becomes payable shall be considered in the same manner as a delay of payment. For the purpose of ensuring accountability in payment of wages and to calculate culpability of various functionaries or agencies, the state will divide the process leading to determination and payment of wages into various stages such as measuring of work, computerizing, etc., etc., and specify the stage-wise maximum time limits along with the functionary or agency which is responsible for discharging the specific function, then computer system, etc. It gives the detail. Now we are coming back to the statute or the main sections. Please take section 27 now. Power of the central government to give direction. The central government may give such directions as it may consider necessary to the state government for effective implementation of the provisions of this Act. Without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 1, the central government may, on receipt of any complaint regarding the issue of improper utilization of funds granted under this Act in respect of any scheme, if prima facie is satisfied that there is a case cause an investigation into the complaint made by any agency designated by it, and if necessary, order stoppage of release of funds to the scheme and institute appropriate remedial measures for the proper implementation within a reasonable period of time. Therefore, we are going and we are two subsections of section 3, my lord, at the end. Kindly come back to, my lord, section 3. Subsection 2 says, every person who has done the work given to him under the scheme shall be entitled to receive wages at the wage rate for each day of work, save as otherwise provided in this act. The disbursement of the daily wages shall be made on a weekly basis or in case not later than a fortnight after the date on which the work was done. Therefore, we are going by this act. The spirit of the act is, this is a central government sponsored scheme. The majority of the burden of the payments are to be taken by the central government. A very minuscule percentage is shared by the state government. Therefore, in the backdrop of the letter of 9th of March 2022, despite our best intentions, we cannot provide job because the wages will not come in view of the 9th March letter. Therefore, as my lords were proposing to direct the central government, I was only paying for an additional direction that let them clarify before the court that what we have done after the 9th March letter and what steps or decisions they have taken on our repeated letters. We can place those letters on record where, we have requested for withdrawal of the 9th March letter.
Yes.
So these are, my submissions for the present.
On one issue, Section 22 has got two limbs.
Yes, Milord.
The subsection 1 deals with the obligation on the central government.
Right, Milord.
A says the amount required for payment of wages.
Yes, Milord.
Read with Section 27, they are entitled to cause an inquiry.
Right.
They have got power.
Yes,
Subsection 2 is independent of subsection 1.
Right.
Which deals with the state shall meet the following, namely, A, the cost of unemployment allowance payable under the scheme. So you start paying unemployment allowance. Suppose wages central government is not releasing because they have invoked subsection 2 of section 27. Let the proceedings are going on. Then you let the state discharge its obligations under subsection 2 of section 22.
May I, make this humble submission before your Lordship, unless, the Manrega scheme or the act is implemented or implementable as a whole, please consider, whether, subsection 2 of section 22 can operate without subsection 1 in operation. May I make this submission, as a proposition of law? Please take, the opening words of subsection 1.
Subsection 2 says the state government shall meet the cost. So therefore, subsection 2 is not dependent on subsection 1. Subsection 1 deals with payment of wages for unskilled manual workers under the scheme. Subsection 2 deals with cost of unemployment allowance. Now, you are not able to provide jobs because of the order passed by the central government, withholding the inquiry going on, etc.
Yes.
Therefore, if the wages are not given or employment is not given, it goes from saying that they are unemployed. So the state should release the unemployment allowance, which it is not dependent upon the central government sanction.
My very humble and respectful submission would be, Milord, if your Lordship will kindly come back to section 3, subsection 1. Please consider, whether, the state's obligation can be, enforced without the central government, doing its part. Because this is, a central government scheme where unless, the central government operates, possibly subject to correction, the state government cannot operate. Kindly take note subsection 1 of section 3. Save as otherwise provided, the state government in such rural area in the state as may be notified by the central government, provide to every household whose adult members volunteer to do the unskilled manual work not less than 100 days of such work in a financial year in accordance with the scheme under this act. Therefore, for the scheme to operate, under the Act, my lord, it is for the central government to notify an area. So, my lord, everything, my lord, starts operating, or my lord, the ball is set in motion only, my lord, pursuant to, my lord, section 3, subsection 1. Therefore, my lord, the sharing part, my lord, the what are the benefits, then, my lord, money coming, disbursing, if there is a case of
Sorry for interruption.
Yes,
there is a clear demarcation between wage and allowance.
Yes, I quite follow.
That is evident from section 22 as well as section 6 and 7. Section 6 now stipulates the wage rate and 7 for payment of unemployment allowance. Unemployment allowance, it's a duty of the state government to do it under the scheme. Whether you get the funds or not, it's not the concern of the so far as the act is concerned. And I'm sorry. But where is the report of the nodal officer?
May I only indicate one thing?
If I may make 2 minutes submission, Millard, kindly, if my learned friend can allow me 2 minutes time, Millard.
Yes,
Millard, please take, Millard, section 7 on the unemployment allowance aspect.
Yes.
Where it says, if an applicant for employment under this scheme is not provided such employment within 15 days of receipt of this application seeking employment, or from the date on which the employment has been sought in the case of an advance application, which is later, he shall be entitled to a daily unemployment allowance in accordance with this section. Therefore, Millard, unless the scheme is in operation, the persons cannot apply. And if they cannot apply, Millard, then the question of, Millard, providing jobs or failing to provide jobs, Millard, in my very humble submission, cannot apply.
No, the scheme has not been suspended. The payment of the grant given by the central government towards wages has been put on hold.
Yes.
So therefore, the plain simple reading of the statute will show that if you are unable to provide employment for any reason, the reason here is because central government has not sanctioned the fund, it has stopped the funds, the inquiry is going on. Then it goes without saying that these people are unemployed. The unemployment allowance has to be disbursed in terms of section 7, read with subsection 2 of section 22 by the state government.
Millard, if I may, Millard, 1 second, Millard, trouble your lordship, with the 9th March letter.
9th March, what happened is after 9th March, the AG says that some 24 compliance reports have been submitted. You are sitting tight on that.
So far as 9th March order is concerned.
After 9th March.
After 9th March, so many things has happened.
No, so many things have happened here.
Yes.
But what the learned advocate general says is they have given you compliance report. Either you decide or not decide. You come to subsection 2 of section 27. The last 3 sentences.
Yes.
But if necessary, order the stoppage of release of funds to the scheme and institute appropriate remedial measures for its proper implementation within a reasonable period of time.
Yes.
So you can't be sitting tight on that. Either you say that the compliance report is no compliance or partial compliance, or for XY reasons I can't accept. You pass an order.
Yes, we'll do that. So far as that part is concerned, your lordship can consider. Inquiry is being conducted. Your lordship has set up an inquiry committee.
That inquiry committee is supposed to give a report to its nodal officer. That report is not
coming. And not only that, if your lordship will not kindly see whether on the last occasion it was.
And who is the nodal officer, AG?
Your Lordship, it's the Additional Chief Secretary, Finance Department, Your Lordship.
Yes. He could have made a one-page report at least. Yeah. This all happened. The committee met on these days. This is how we have proceeded. That is why this matter we listed it today on the eve of the vacation.
Well, may I only indicate one thing, Your Lordship.
What do you want to
Well, may kindly take the